Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history, today the Colossus of Rhodes, while doing in the second half of the video after that squad training. And if you participate in the squad training, that is at your own risk. Now we're already in part 3 or so of the Colossus of Rhodes. Now, and I think we are very short before making a presentation. I know most of the things. Now it started a bit complex. I didn't look it up where Rhodes is. I tried it, but I couldn't find on the map of the Mediterranean Sea where Rhodes is. But we know that it is in the Aegean Sea, and the Aegean Sea that is on the eastern part of Greek, and it is 12 miles from the coast of Turkey. Maybe not going to mention so much to the position. The Dodecanese, I think these are the islands, Dodecanese Islands. We are just going to say it is in the Aegean Sea, is a Greek island in the Aegean Sea, between Greek and Turkey. And the other thing I stumbled across, that it has a population of 120,000 today. You can see their ship. That picture, and I don't mean that one, I mean that one. You can see it from here. That one. Okay, it's an island in the Aegean Sea, and in the year 312 did King Ptolemy of Egypt attack or led his war against Antiochus of Macedonia, and the Rhodes people joined them and helped them. Macedonians weren't happy about it. They won, the Rhodes and the Egyptian king Ptolemy. But when the Macedonians a few years later were angry, they came back and besieged the city of Rhodes. And then finally, after 1 year, the Egyptian king Ptolemy, whom they had previously helped against the Macedonians, helped them against the Macedonians, and they won. To commemorate that thing, the sculptor Charles of Lindus, Charles of Lindus, that book is written by Lionel Gregson. Wonders of the World. Lionel Gregson. I'm going to say that at the end of the presentation. Charles of Lindus. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Charles of Lindus was then commissioned to make a statue, and he did it out of bronze. Where's the thing of bronze written? To create a huge bronze sculpture. As an additional memorial to the Great Siege, the Colossus was to be cast entirely from metal taken from the war engines abandoned by the Macedonians. Whatever. It was made to commemorate that war. And the thing was done of Helios and Apollo. Now it would be helpful to know Helios or Apollo closer. Is that Apollo? Or should that be Apollo? And the sentence would be easier to understand. To make a large bronze statue in honor of Helios or Apollo. Do we want to say that a little bit? And it was then built from 292 until 280. And it was 32 meters high and 300 tons weighing. And it maybe had between its legs, the ships were sailing into the harbor or out. And it had maybe a mirror in its chest, which was maybe seeable until Egypt. But then, 56 years later, in the year 224. In the year 224, the war was in 312. These are too many numbers. 312, 292, 280, 224. There was an earthquake and the thing fell down. But even these shattered pieces were so astonishing that the Roman historian Pliny said about 300 years later, few men can clasp the thumb with her arms, and the fingers are larger than most statues. Where the limbs are broken asunder, vast caverns are yawning in the interior. Yawning in the interior, just in the interior. Now the question is, are we ready to make a presentation? Let's try it. That has been according to the book Wonders of the World by Lionel Gregson. I'm going to start the second camera, and on that I'm trying to do now a presentation of the Colossus of Rhodes. But about the book, so that's why you have to learn so much. I need a bookmark. I'm going to start with the second camera now. The Colossus of Rhodes. It was in the Aegean Sea on the island Rhodes. It's between Greece and Turkey. And there is that statue. Just if it would be possible, where is that statue about which we are talking now? Okay, I can start again. The Colossus of Rhodes. Greek is in Europe at the Mediterranean Sea, and then there's Turkey, and in the middle there's an island that is called Rhodes. And on that island Rhodes there's the city Rhodes, and in the harbour of the city Rhodes, on the island Rhodes in the Aegean Sea, there was the statue with the name the Colossus of Rhodes in the harbour. It was 32 meters high and weighed 400 tons. And it is said that between the two legs of the statue, ships could sail in and out of the harbour. And it's also said that inside of the chest there was a mirror which could be seen up to Egypt. And there was in the year 312 before Christ a war between the Egyptian king Ptolemy against the Macedonian. And then the people of Rhodes helped the Egyptian king against the Macedonian, and they won. But a few years later the Macedonians were angry, were mad at the people of Rhodes and besieged them. After a year then the Egyptian king Ptolemy helped them, and they won. And to commemorate that thing, the sculptor Charles Lindus was commissioned to make a large bronze statue, and he did with them. And then in the year 280, after 12 years of building, it was there standing. But it didn't stay, it stood there for so long time. 56 years later, in the year 244, there was an earthquake and the thing fell down. But even 300-400 years later, there was the Roman historian Pliny, and it was still so impressive that 400 years later, he said about it, few men can clasp the thumb with their arms, and the fingers are as large as most statues. And then he said also, I don't know it. Where the limbs are broken asunder. I was already talking about larger than most statues. Larger than most statues. We would have time for one more take before we're doing whatever we're even doing. Squat training. Well, you know what? We're going to do squat training. We'll come back for another part. I'm going to pause the camera. Yes, I'm going to pause it. And we will do now the squat training. If you're here for another try of a presentation, you can go directly to the next video. We will do now here the squat training. If you participate in the squat training, that is at your own risk. We're warming a little up. We're bringing one leg up, and the body, the foot down, the mushroom. And we bring the other leg up and the body, the foot down. And we're doing some squats. Legs wide apart, and we're going down. And we come back again. We're doing 10. So that's the second one, and that's the third one. We're ready for the fourth one. I'm doing 5. That's 6. And the 7th, 8, and the 9, and the 10th one. And now we're doing 3 exercises, 3 isometric exercises. The first one is the 6-pack squat squeeze. We're going down into quarter squat, and we're pressing against the top of the leg. Now we're pressing on the other side. Now we're going down into half squat, and we're pressing in the middle of the leg. And we're pressing on the other side. Now we're going down into three-quarter squat, and we're pressing close to the knee. And we're pressing on the other side. And now we're doing the fast giraffe of water pond. We're staying in three-quarter squat, we're pressing against the knee, and we're going towards the knee. We're pressing against the abdomen, and we're going towards it. Again, pressing and going. Pressing, going. And 2 times more. Now we're doing the last exercise, the propeller. Down into a full squat, arms at the side. We're going over to one side and pressing against the leg and looking up to the hand, and we're having a little bend in the elbow. Going into the middle, to the other side, press against the leg, a little bend in the elbow, and look up to the head. Going into the middle, and going up. That was the squat training. Now a bit of stretching. Doing the crane, we're taking the ankle, we're making a straight back, and we're bringing the knee down to the floor. And taking the other leg as the ankle, straight back, and the knee down to the floor. Now the heel onto the ground, and pull the toes in. Bring the foot to the right and pull the toes in. Foot to the left and pull the toes in. And into the middle and pull the toes in, and move the whole leg from left to right a bit. And the other leg onto the ground and pull the toes in. Bring the foot to the right and pull the toes in. To the left and pull the toes in. And down the middle, and move the whole leg from left to right. And we could do a trunk igniter. Breathe in. And out. In. Out. And now we're feeling across the leg. And out. That was a squat training. Thank you very much, and until next time.